Our third speaker is Dr. Dave, one of my favorites. His topic, different investment opportunities in the cannabis sector. David M. Cunic, PhD, actually double PhD, is an entrepreneur who specializes in investor advisory services. Dr. Dave, as most people know him, has raised capital, expanded several companies, and has employed over 300 plus people. He's been in the medical field for over 18 plus years, has been a business owner for 19 plus years, and has been in the cannabis industry for 10 plus years. Some people call him the triple-headed dragon due to his diversity and experience. Over the past 16 years, Dr. Dave has started over 10 plus companies, both in the public and private sector, and has successfully sold many of them. His efforts in business operations and human resources won him the prestigious Alfred Sloan Award for workplace programs and flexibility. That's a big deal, by the way. David has assisted many companies in securing millions of dollars for his clients, ranging from the cannabis, hemp, energy, medical, water, and beverage industry. He has served on numerous boards as an advisor and is a trusted source of information. Dr. Dave is frequently invited to keynote and speak at conferences on a variety of topics. So, Dr. Dave, please take it away.
Thank you so much, John. I really do appreciate the introduction. And for everyone that's here on the panel, thank you for spending your time. And from one former investor judge to the current investor judges, I wish everyone the best of luck today. And I hope it's a great event for everyone. What we're going to start off with today is actually a quick 2-minute video. And I'd recommend for this 2-minute video that's going to be played in a second, that if you could, turn up the volume on your computer, your laptop, your cell phone. If you have an issue hearing the video, I'll put my email address in the chat room. You can email us directly and we'll send you that video. But after we start off with this, we'll continue on with the presentation. So Brad and Ron, if you could cue the video, that'd be great.
Hello. If you're watching this video, you must have already reached out about the exciting opportunity currently being offered by UCS Advisors to both accredited and non-accredited investors. If you're wondering if these opportunities apply to you, ask yourself, are you someone who likes to diversify your investments? Are you currently in law enforcement, military, or a government-regulated job that decides for you that you cannot invest in the hemp and cannabis stocks while the rest of Wall Street sees exponential gains in these fields and new and exciting industries? Are you tired of not having the capital to invest in larger deals that seem only available to the financially elite, accredited investors, or large firms? Well, then UCS Advisors is your answer. We have been watching, listening, and providing guidance to all types of people from all walks of life for over a decade. Whether you're a policeman, a fireman, a carpenter, our business is making sure that your business succeeds. UCS Advisors does this by giving you the personal empowerment to be flexible in your investments. It gives you the personal empowerment to be diverse in your investment. And the personal empowerment to be in the know, to know when your money will mature, know exactly what time frame the money will mature, and know exactly the amount of money so that you can plan and make decisions for your future. Many people in the financial world only see the tip of the iceberg. UCS Advisors sees the entire iceberg, what is below the surface, out of public eye, and forged through a decade of interpersonal relationships and business integrity. Over 100 companies from all walks of life, publicly and privately, investments starting as low as $5,000 and becoming fully matured in as little as 15 months, a 30% return on investment. For example, if you invest $10,000 today, you will get back $13,000 in 15 months or less. It's that simple. We place your money where we think it will grow, and we pay you a flat 30% profit, similar to a corporate bond or a small business-to-business loan. 30% return, no more or no less, in 15 months or less. Contact UCS Advisors today and take advantage of this amazing opportunity. Dr. David Cunic, the co-founder and CEO, he can be reached directly at 201-252-7170 or visit us on the web at at ucsadvisor.com.
Yeah, sorry about the delay, everyone. So that is our general video that we put out. And today we're going to talk about why this program came about. And let's go over some facts right now. Fact: if you work for certain government agencies, you are not allowed to invest in cannabis or hemp, such as the US Marshals, such as if you work for the federal prison system. Fact: if you are an active military member, you are not allowed to invest directly into a cannabis deal. Fact: some states actually ban state-employed first responders, such as EMTs and firefighters, from investing directly into cannabis opportunities. Fact: if you're not an accredited investor, there are numerous, I repeat, there are numerous opportunities you are not allowed to invest in for cannabis. Fact: depending on your background check, if you want to invest in a private deal, you may not qualify to invest in a cannabis deal. And I'm going to take that point one step further. In several states, actually numerous states, if you get a drunk driving charge, that goes on your criminal record. And some states will not allow you to even apply for a cannabis license or to invest in a cannabis deal with that being on your record. Fact: the average cannabis owner, from concept of business idea to fully opening your business and generating a revenue, takes on average 2.78 years. Why do I bring that up? Is you always want to make sure you make your money work for yourself. Now, with these facts I just mentioned, and also being in cannabis now for almost 12 years, the investing landscape has dramatically changed. It's an estimated 86.5% of Americans no longer qualify here in 2021 to invest in cannabis. And that's not fair, and that's not right. And if you're paying attention to this presentation right now, if you've heard the comedian Chris Rock, go in the chat room right now and say, I know who Chris Rock is. So if you're listening right now and paying attention to this presentation, and you know who the comedian Chris Rock is, just put a yes or say, I know who Chris Rock is. And why do I say that? Because Chris Rock, back in 2003, while doing one of his comedy shows, he said, that ain't right. And once again, that ain't right. So if you are a non-accredited investor, you can't invest in a lot of deals. That ain't right. If you work for the federal prison system or a US Marshal, you can't invest in cannabis. That ain't right. Now, if we take another step further, if you look at the average cannabis deal, especially in the private sector right now, you're looking at a minimum of usually $75,000 to invest in. Not everyone has $75,000. And when you really look at how many people, especially here in America, have extra income to invest in private deals, they don't have the extra money, and that ain't right. Now, let's take it another step further. The other reason why we came up with this program was a time frame. Stock markets go up and down. We'll see here, you might have issues with getting your money back on a private deal. We have organized this program where our return on investment and an opportunity for this is within 15 months or less. Why do I bring this up? Is that the average private deal to get back your initial investment is roughly 3 years. That's right, 3 years. Not everyone can invest $75,000 and wait 3 years. And as Chris Rock says, that ain't right. And I see people blowing up the chat room down there saying they know who Chris Rock is, and I know I have your attention. Why was this program created? It was created out of demand, and also it was created due to accountability. No blaming the presidents, no blaming the stock markets, no blaming the economy, no blaming the lack of gas. We designed this program because us here at UCS Advisors, assume 100% of the risk for your 30% return on investments. No blaming excuses. If we fall short of our number, that money's coming out of our own pocket, plain and simple. The other reason why we also came up with this is that at the same exact time, is that, to be quite frank, if you're going to give your money $100,000, you're going to do a ton of due diligence. And by the time you're done with your due diligence, that opportunity might be lost. And I've seen John shake his head several times during this presentation because he knows exactly what I'm referring to. Another reason why we came up with this program and we made our minimum investment $5,000 is, let's call a spade a spade. If you talk to your financial advisor, if you're a financial advisor here in the chat on this, give me, I'm a financial advisor, because you're going to tell your clients, take 5% of your portfolio and put in something risky. Well, you got a $100,000 portfolio, 5%, that's $5,000. But once again, we created this program mainly due to two reasons. One, accountability. We were tired of everyone, when investments didn't come through, blaming the stock market or blaming COVID or blaming who the president was. We're tired of excuses. If you're a business owner, take accountability. And that's what we do here at UCS Advisors. The next reason is that if we were looking at the cannabis industry over a decade ago, pretty much anyone and everyone could invest in it. That's not the case anymore. And it's not fair. And in the words of Chris Rock, that ain't right. And it's just not right that so many people cannot invest in cannabis. And the other thing is too, last but not least, is we tell people, dip your toe in the water, invest 5, 10, or 15,000. See if our program is the right fit for you. And then if it is, then you might like some of the other deals. Listen, if you want to put 100 grand into a great deal, we have options for you. Josh Kincaid, I think, is speaking later today. C3 Fund, great company. They do great work. You've had other people here, such as Iconic Wellness, who's presented here, Investor Hot Seat, who does deals out in Michigan with Dispensary Go. They're doing great work as well, too. We have those deals that we can vet, but if you don't feel comfortable or if you don't qualify for these better deals, reach out to us and we can educate you and can empower you. And with that being said, because I know, John, we're going to have a little open forum for a couple of minutes and talk. The main part of this program, and you can hear the passion in my voice, is that I've started 7 different cannabis companies in 5 different states. And it truly is amazing how over 85% of Americans no longer qualify to invest in cannabis deals. And that ain't right. And we are here to solve that problem. And we are here to help people with that. With that being said, John, I'd love to start a dialogue or any questions.
Wow. I don't know how many people really understand what it is that you're actually offering. I am an accredited investor, and I also have a family office that meets certain definitions. It basically allows me to invest in pretty well anything, right? But what does that really mean? That means that those deals that people always wonder, how do I get into that? Why did this company, before it went public, how can I get into the pre-public stock? How can I get into the private investment rounds? And the answer, of course, is most of them you can't because you're not an accredited investor. And that's what you're addressing with, in some ways, which is a market inefficiency. I mean, I understand the logic behind it originally was that, if you have a certain amount of money, in theory, you're a sophisticated investor, supposedly you know what you're doing. Well, that may be true, but the truth is it's created an unfair advantage for guys like me that just basically can get into earlier deals. So I'm going to go ahead, and with that having been said, I'm going to throw the following question out, and I think this is an important one, David, is what has changed in terms of the definition of an accredited investor? And more importantly, what does that mean to me?
So, John, this is a great question. And this is another reason why we came up with this program, because we saw how the term accredited investor was traditionally all about finances. And then they've slightly changed the definition where, depending your experience of being maybe a financial advisor, a financial planner, depending what certifications you hold, depending even your real life experience, if you've been on boards of publicly traded companies and what your experience has been in the money markets, you can now qualify as an accredited investor. And the term's getting looser and looser now. And what we usually tell people is this: at the end of the day, if you're not an accredited investor and you invest in a deal and you lose all your money, you have nothing to stand on. You can't sue the company. Nothing's going to happen. That's really the short end of it. You have nothing to do. And a lot of these better deals, you know what? They don't want to take that risk and they don't want that headache. And what's interesting is, and I'm going to take a step further, John, and there's another reason why we developed this 30% return on investment program. We've been blessed. I've been blessed. I'll be first to admit to it. I've been in the industry long enough, as well as some of our team members, where we've got in on friends and family rounds. For some companies that are now in their Series B, Series C, or even Series D round, because we had that time, because we qualified. But we made sure that we empowered ourselves the opportunity to increase our positions through us. And that's why we offer a flat rate fee for our return on investment, because we have deals in place in the private sector, in the public sector. We have deals with small dispensaries and also small grow operators. We get a royalty for every ounce grown, or we get a percentage of the profit to hit X amount of dollars selling product out of their dispensary per month. Not everyone can get part of these deals. So we're taking that entire group of deals, putting them all together, knowing what we could offer for that return on investment for someone who might not quite qualify for that accredited investor, or they might just be a year or two away. And now they can start to dip their toes in the water and start getting involved in this cannabis industry.
That's a very important point, especially since you can do a level of due diligence far, very relatively few investors. I even include myself in that category, can actually do. Because for me, if I'm doing a private placement, it's a small deal. I frankly just don't have the time. But
and John, let's take it a step further. Actually, in 2020, we reviewed over 450 pitch decks.
Oh, there you
Only
are.
16 of them passed our vetting process.
Yeah.
Our investors are very happy with those 16. 2019, we did 325 plus, only 12. And I see Josh Kincaid shaking his head because we've talked about this offline. Is that, you know what, when you're doing and you're working with someone, they're doing the due diligence for you. And that's why we laugh with working with financial advisors, because people in Boston, LA, Denver, those financial advisors saying, okay, we want you to help our clients because you make the money. They're going to take that profit, give it back to us, and let us reinvest it for them.
Yeah, no, and also not that I hope it's not lost on anyone. From what I discern, you have deal flow, which is really important, because even someone like myself, I have access to, I belong to numerous groups and numerous firms, but there's still deals that I either can't get into, or I just are not qualified. I'm not saying qualified. I just can't get in. They just don't have the right contacts. And there's been a few deals that I really wish I could have done where they just passed me by. Whereas if someone like yourself, David, where you've done business with them already, heck, you have a better chance than me, frankly, of getting in. And by the way, just for the record, I do not have a financial interest in your firm. We're just friends. So as long as everybody's clear on that.
Yep.
So I think we've got a couple minutes left. Okay. And what I'd like to do is just give you an opportunity to perhaps add anything that you would like to say to the audience, anything that you would like to close with.
Sure. I think what's really important is this, and whether it's UCS advisors, another investor relations advisory company, whoever is running that company, or even their employees, ask them if they've actually been involved in the cannabis sector themselves.
Yeah.
Ask them if they've ever opened up a business, because there's a lot of stuff that you got to read in between the lines. And it's interesting because you can read a pro forma, you can read a balance sheet, but how much electricity is this grow facility gonna use? What are the electricity? What's the power usage loss for that state? Is a license transferable if the company wants to try to get acquired? There's so many little facets that are just not put on paper. So we really pride ourselves with opening up several cannabis companies. We've been on the ground floor. We know what it takes. We've dealt with the states. We've dealt with the federal government on certain regulations as well, too, to go back and forth and talk about them. And that's really important, no matter who you use. And also, I encourage everyone, talk to your financial advisor, your financial planner. If they're telling you not to do anything in cannabis, you need to question them why. Because that's like them telling you, don't invest anything with the internet when the internet came out. And if we look at the numbers statistically, and as a medical guy, let's look at this purely objectively and not subjectively. And I'm going to dumb down the numbers. the only industry for the last 15 years in a row to increase its overall revenue on an average of 125% per year for the last 15 years in a row is cannabis. It's not real estate. It's not technology. It's not gold. It's not silver. It's been cannabis. So if you're not looking at this sector to invest and to do a little bit, you are truly missing out on this opportunity. And if you're someone who's scared, you don't really want to like jump into the water completely, you need some guidance, you can reach out to an investor relations advisor and they can help you with that. And they can help you make that decision. If you're going to maybe invest 150, 200 grand to a private deal, you might want to spend maybe $300 or $400 with a cannabis investor relations advisor that can go through the deal and tell you the pros and cons that can benefit you. Because at the end of the day, and people have seen me speak before, as a medical professional, it's about empowering people with information and knowledge. And part of our job here at UCS Advisors and every investor relations advisory company's job is to empower you, the investor, with information and knowledge. Ron and Brad, I think we're just about done with my time. John, thank you so much for hosting today. I really do appreciate it. And once again, everyone, good luck that's presenting today to the investor judges. And thank you so much for your time.